Yes, I did drop out of high school, but don't try that at home. It's not always a recipe for success, but it does elaborate on a very important characteristic of mine that I hold with a badge of honor, which is I am crazy. But crazy in the sense that I was allowed to do what I wanted to. And for that, from the very beginning, for whatever I will be telling you from here on, I had one support that must be acknowledged, was my family. Because they allowed me to be crazy. They allowed me to think out of the box. So let's rewind to 2005. I was in grade 9 in Green Herald, summer vacation, and I saw this video by Bono, the frontman of U2. There was the Gleneagles G8 summit happening, and he spoke about this statistic that every 3 seconds a child was dying of hunger. Gone. 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 Now this copyright is with Bono, but I'm using it. But it was, you know, that eureka moment, that one moment that in your life you're like, whoa, that really got to me. I was not a development expert. I had no clue about any of this, but that statistic stayed with me. And I just knew, again, as a class 9 student, I just knew that I had to do something about it. Didn't know what, but that's the rest of the story. So class 10 started. I was my O-levels coming up, and so priorities were straight. But the back of my head, I just knew that we had to do something about this. It was really bothering me. And so me being allowed to be crazy, my family really nurtured that. And so right after my O-levels, I actually took a gap year. And I got a bunch of my friends together, and I basically said, let's do something, as cheesy as this sounds, to do something to help the development of the country. Now remember, listen, we're all English medium students, right? I mean, for us, development of the country, I mean, it was very cheesy. We were like, what? But I just knew that for me, being able to do something in that was going to be my own journey in figuring out who I was going to be. And so that was my startup capital. That's how I got my friends to come together. Not because I sent them a very heavy lofted email with Bono's video and saying every 3 seconds a child is dying of hunger. No, I said free sandwich. And I had a bunch of my friends come to a rooftop in Dhanmondi 27, and we had our first meeting in 2007. We were all excited. We all dressed up fancy. It was going to be, you could think of this as the first MUN in a way. And we got ourselves thinking like, okay, what can we do that we can do this summer vacation? So we were mostly from Dhanmondi. So we created this organization called CGIY, Center for Global Issues for Youth. Very fancy, very in, very serious-like. And together, for 3 days, over the August of 2007, we cleaned up the streets of Dhanmondi. And through that, the journey began. And it was so successful. It was so popular in getting students together. And I felt like a rock star. And it really became a rock star moment. We organized just 8 years ago today, we organized a Victory Day celebration, bringing in students from all over Dhaka city at the parliament with the deputy speaker. And we committed to a bigger and better Bangladesh through that event. So we were going places, my organization, and I was becoming really popular. But it bothered me. I just realized all the activities we were doing was entirely Dhaka-based. And my organization was getting a lot of exposure. But I was inherently feeling uncomfortable because I was not doing anything near enough to address what was bothering me initially. Every 3 seconds, a child was dying of hunger. So I left Dhaka. And I went into the villages. And there went my popularity. I changed the name of my organization from CGIY because when you went to rural areas and asked them to pronounce that, it was quite interesting. So dropped the fancy name with the fancy titles of Secretary General and this and that, and I created a very simple name, OGGRO, which comes from a Bengali word which goes for moving forward. It was simple to pronounce, and rural people got it. Now what could again, we had to start somewhere. So I started with the education of visually impaired girls. We imported a braille machine from Kolkata, and we set up a base in Khulna where we supported the education of 17 visually impaired girls across the country, supporting them to give their SSC and HSC exam, and then finishing their university and finding them jobs. This was funded through me, myself, teaching O-level and A-level students, and through donations from many kindred spirits who would write me a check. And again, so in the rural areas, we then really started prospering. We started youth campaigns called youth leadership programs in different schools, allowing them to do different activities like fixing toilets in rural communities. And we were really gathering traction. But again, it cost a lot of money. It was my money from my own teaching and some donations. And so that's where I started realizing something which many NGOs today are still struggling with, is NGOs are donor-driven. They need funds. When they have the funds, they'll do brilliant work, but when the funds are over, they will say goodbye. Good knowing you. So I was again feeling uncomfortable. That no, I'm getting there, but I'm not answering sustainability. Still missing. I was restless. I was confused. And I just started also going through my own transition. I just entered Dhaka University. I was studying economics there. And again, my family allowed me to do this. The trajectory for me was to go abroad. I struck a deal with my brother. If I get into DU economics, he lets me stay. So that became my mantra at that time. And I got in, and then my challenge was, right, what can I now do to make my organization sustainable? Because now I'm in it. I am in Dhaka, for better or worse. I'm going to live in Bangladesh, and I need to make sure that what I'm doing is permanent. So I started thinking. The picture is for dramatic effect. Pondering, wondering, traveling a lot. Now it was literally an epiphany. When I just suddenly realized that whenever I used to go to these rural areas working with the youth, I noticed that every rural household would have 2 cows or some potato field or rice field. In other words, rural Bangladesh was agriculture Bangladesh. In spite of all the Dhaka division-based garments revolution, the IT revolution, which are all brilliant, but at the end of the day, our backbone was still agriculture. And that was when I started realizing that through my NGO, I could open 1,000 schools or 1,000 hospitals, but it wouldn't matter if the rural people could not afford it or access it. And so there came that answer. My journey is to increase the income of the rural farmer. Because if you can do that, then all the other NGOs that are opening the hospitals or the schools, these rural farmers will be able to access those services. So I wanted to work at the core of it, increase the farmer's income. And so I figured out my identity. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Farzeen Ferdous Alam, and I am a farmer. And I am a proud farmer. I am very lucky because just yesterday I was in Mithapukur Upojela, Parabond Union, sitting with farmers and talking like, Sasa alu dam koto aske. And today I am here. I am working at the very core of beautiful Bangladesh. You know those beautiful Bangladesh videos you get to see from a lot of telecoms and stuff? I'm right there. They never take my video in those. But I am working there. And so for me, I shut down my NGO, as scary as that was. I shut it down and I re-registered as a social enterprise. And now it's called OGGRO Ventures. Now, in a social enterprise, and mind you, social enterprise is different from social business. Social enterprise is where you find a problem and you use the market forces of profit to solve that problem. I will never apologize for making a profit, which NGOs are really, really shunning at. But I have no problem with making profit. But while making profit, if I can solve a social problem, then that's brilliant. I can sleep at night. And so based on that, I created OGGRO Ventures, which answers 3 questions. Any entities, it's a subsidiary consisting of 3 entities right now, and any further entities will have to answer 3 questions. Number 1, is it solving a social problem while making a profit? I'm an economist, that matters to me. Number 2, am I creating some innovation? Am I really creating a value? Number 3, and this is the most important, am I truly enjoying it? Is this something for which I will stay up at 2 a.m. missing my niece's birthday and stick to this and not feel sorry for myself? If that answers these 3 questions, I'm going to jump right into it. And I may fail. There have been ventures that have failed. But these 3 have survived so far. The struggle was real. And that cow pretty much is a metaphor for my life and me pulling it. It was one of my prime cows, cow number 16, brilliant. I love her. But that also has been the problem with my life. As a farmer, I mean, I have 0 social or dating life because apparently it's a bad pickup line if you go and say, hi, I am a farmer. But hopefully that might change in the future. But again, innovation, and much to my inspiration through my mother, started Ferdous Biotech, which was Bangladesh's first tissue culture laboratory through which we produce virus-free, mass-produced propagated seeds for farmers. There you go. 65% of our employees are women. And that's by our company's law. We have to. We import. As an economist, it bothers me. Our current account import balance scares me. And we import things like orchids from Thailand. We can grow it ourselves. So through our laboratory, we bought in some orchids from Thailand, and we mass propagated them. We cultured the DNA, and we now produce our own orchids, saving us valuable dollars. Instead, we try to earn dollars, or euros, or pounds. The same seeds that we give to the farmers, we buy back the potatoes that they grow, and we export them. This year, up till this year, OGGRO Ventures, through OGGRO Crops and Ferdous Biotech, has exported to Malaysia, Singapore, Oman, UAE, Brunei, and just this year's summer, we broke through into the European Union in Italy, sending vegetables. 21,000 registered farmers. And by registered farmers, I mean I can call any one of them today and go over for lunch. And that's the data that we have now. And we are working with them through an integrated policy system, where we provide them access to finance, access to seeds, access to markets. Remember this? Today, through an independently verified and valuation given in July, OGGRO Ventures today is worth $6 million. So you want to think outside the box. There you have it. Buy some sandwich and go crazy. Thank you.